crazy final event. I am Kalle Beck from StartingStrongman.com, and where do I begin? I guess I'll begin at the start. Started off with a loading medley, which is a keg, an anvil, and then two, I believe they're 300-pound sandbags. They were doing it through the sand, and Tom Stoltman won the event with a time of 39.36. Mateusz Kieliszkowski with 40.52 for second. Martins Lisis with third for 43.87. JF Caron fourth. Konstantin Janashia in fifth, 47.3. Luke Stoltman, 47.4. That's how close these things are. Hafthor Bjornsson with his injured foot, 47.9. He also picked up the anvil. He always hucks it in the air, then catches it. This is the first time it hasn't worked out for him, and it fell back down. He probably lost a good 4 seconds there. And, 3 to 4 seconds, and he could have got third overall in that event, but that's just kind of how things go. By doing that, and then he was a little more tentative after on the sandbag picks, and he's basically dragging that injured foot through the sand. Just a gutsy performance. Brian Shaw just looks slow. I think that's fair to say. 48.7. It was just kind of just looked slow. Trey Mitchell 52.96, and Adam Bishop finished it in 55.6. After the event, I was told that Thor left. He just looked like he was in a lot of pain. That was the event that was going to push him the most. Seeing Shaw and Thor get 7th and 8th on the event was absolutely a shock. Tom Stoltman, it shouldn't be too much of a surprise that he won, but he definitely performed up to his ability. He won the event. He's very fast, very athletic. Kieliszkowski just a little behind. He looked a little like in the one last year where he went against Thor in the finals. He was very, very fast, but because they were pushing each other hard. He went against Shaw, who was having a slow run, so I don't think he pushed it quite as much. If he was going against someone like, let's say, Martins or even Tom Stoltman, maybe he would have pushed it a little bit more. But it looked like he was just a little conservative on some of the picks, and that was probably the difference in the, just over a second on that event. In event 2, the overhead press medley, Kieliszkowski ends up winning the event with 23.86, giving him 10 points, 19 total, taking the overall lead. Martins Lisis, Mr. Consistent, just behind him, 27.54 for 9 points, 17 total. Brian Shaw just edged Hafthor. Hafthor kind of bobbled the circus dumbbell. He had trouble getting it on his shoulder. I think probably just getting, loading up the foot extra or something threw him off. He also did them slightly out of order. I know there was some controversy on that, if it was allowed that you had to do them in a set order or not, but it seemed to go. And he was just less than half a second off of Brian Shaw. So Brian Shaw picked up 1 big point on him. They ended up with 11 total apiece after it. Tom Stoltman actually put up a lot better time on the overhead press medley than I thought he would, getting 5th place with 45.9, 16 total, so he was still in 3rd place at this point. JF Caron, all 5 and 48.1 for 12 total, putting him in 4th going after 2 events. Trey Mitchell, solid, getting all 4, 54.55. Then it went Luke Stoltman, got 3 in a faster time than Adam Bishop. Stoltman got all 5, but in 47.6. Bishop got 3 implements in 35.9. Konstantin Janashia, he got the first 2 dumbbells, and then he injured something in his right arm pressing the circus dumbbell. I'm not sure what was wrong with him. Hope him a speedy recovery. Oh, I forgot to mention what the implements were. It was 2 regular loaded dumbbells that you had to clean at the same time and press overhead. There's a couple training videos of some of the athletes practicing this a couple weeks ago. So it got leaked somehow. Did all the athletes know? Did they not? Kind of how Worlds is. Stuff like this always happens. It's nothing new. Is it how it should be? No, but if people are, that's a pretty good guess if you're guessing, is all I'm going to say. I'm going to go in reverse order of how people did. That makes more sense, don't you think? So it was a 750-pound squat. I think it's usually 700, so it was raised up a bit. Adam Bishop Luke Stoltman and Tom Stoltman all got 5 reps apiece to get 3 points. And when people tie on events like that, they split the points that they'd be. And that makes a... also, Trey Mitchell did so. Trey Mitchell got 6. So just getting that 1 extra rep got him 2 points on everyone else in that group. So that's big. Hafthor, JF Karan, and Kielszkowski all got 7. That's a huge performance by Kielszkowski. That's best case scenario. Gave him 7 points overall, but tying with JF Karan and Hafthor doing it, he's fighting back with the plantar fascia injury. But they all got 7 points apiece. But that is huge for the people that placed ahead of him. Brian Shaw got 8 reps. He gets 9 points, so he picks up 2 on that whole group. And Lisi's did 9 reps. Shaw did 8 reps for 9 points. Martins Lisi's does 9 reps to get 10 points. So he gains 3 points on Kielszkowski, 3 on Hafthor, 1 on Brian Shaw, 3 on Jeff Karan. Them splitting points is huge. Huge in these kind of events. Yeah, and with that, he took the lead with 27 total points. Kielszkowski, 26. And Brian Shaw moved into third overall with 20. JF Karan, 19. Hafthor Bjornsson inching his way back, 18. And Tom Stoltman also had 19 at that time. The deadlift hold. This is such a wild card event. Didn't really know how it was going to go. Trey Mitchell did 23 seconds for 2 points. Tom Stoltman, I figured how big he is and figured I had big hands. He'd hold up better in this event. Did 28.76. Probably the biggest shocker was Brian Shaw only getting 7th place overall with 30 seconds and only 4 points. This really cost him. This cost him a podium spot right here. I don't know if it's hot, humid, whatever. Kielszkowski also, probably underperformed on it. 36.66 for 6 points. Adam Bishop, that big 4/100ths of a second for 36.7 for 7 points. Big points for him. I think that's his best finish of the day. JF Karan, 38.7. Every Canadian has a good grip. It's a law if you live there. Martins Lisi's with a solid 40 seconds. And the event that myself and a lot of people have wondered, because he's dropped farmers and stuff in the past, but he won the Hercules hold at Europe's. He said he's had some nerve issues in his hand that I think he's, been resolving. He said he's been working on, it's been feeling better, and I guess it is. Hafthor Bjornsson wins the event with 45.29, or 5 seconds longer than second place. Big points, mounting his comeback, showing great heart despite injury and being so far down. He never stopped fighting. He got 10 big points there to give him 28 total. Martins takes a pretty decisive lead at that point with 36 total points. Kielszkowski, 32. Brian Shaw, just that one really hurt him, 24 points. JF Karan, 27. And yeah, so Hafthor moved into third place in that event. So going into the stones, I think actually Martins had 37 points. There's something like that, because he had a 5-point lead. 5-point lead going into stones. Thor was 3 points behind Kielszkowski, I think. So Lisi's had a 8-point lead on third place. So that's having a 5-point lead going into the last event with 9 people is about as comfortable as you can do. Trey Mitchell went. He tried to one motion all the stones. He bobbled the third. He one motion the first 2, bobbled the third, recovered, loaded all 5 in still a decent time of 52.47. Adam Bishop and Luke Stoltman both did 3 stones apiece. Luke a little faster than Adams for 9th and 8th overall. JF Karan loaded 5 stones in 55.38 for 7th place. Brian Shaw, 5 stones in 38.48. Kielszkowski, 5 stones in 38.45, just a little faster. Tom Stoltman, when he went against Brian Shaw and did him in 35.47 for 3rd place in that event. Hafthor Bjornsson, again, getting stronger as the day goes on somehow with an injury. I thought it would be the opposite, but he wasn't going down. He hasn't had to be pushed in the stones in a long time, and he put up a sub-30 time, 5 stones in 28.95. Then, Lisi's went against Kielszkowski and did it in 27. What he didn't have to. He could have loaded about 5 stones in a decent time and won. But he put an exclamation point, and Martins Licis is your 2019 World's Strongest Man. Wow. I don't even know where to begin. I could sit here for the next hour or day and tell Martins Licis stories because he's, I live in California. I've been competing in California forever. Martins is down there. I've seen him in the amateur shows, like blah, 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 blah. There's so many. I'm not going to get too far into it, but it's pretty cool. Someone that you saw, that I've seen since, so I think it was 2012, California Strongest Man was his first competition, I believe. As an amateur, he was a heavyweight. He only weighed like 240 pounds. He's unrecognizable from how he is today. You would think he was a middleweight at the time. I competed in the under 200-pound class. There was a monsoon all day. I won that class. Martins didn't place well. He was very athletic and a strong guy, but he was undersized and just not quite at that level. And this is 2012. This is 7 years ago. It's a long time, and he's been working harder than just about anyone that entire time. And you just never know what person you see get mid-pack at an amateur show could go on to be World's Strongest Man within the next decade if they really put their mind to it, put the work into it. I don't think anyone, you look at someone like Hathor, Brian Shaw, and you're like, yeah, that person's born to do strongman. You look at old pictures of Martins, you don't think so. But he's very smart with his training. His programming's on point. He seems to stay fairly healthy just by doing extra mobility work, and he just continually works. I've overlooked him in the past. I did predict him to win this. It's about time he got his due. Really happy for him. Someone I consider a friend, and that I've driven to the airport at amateur nationals. There's so many good Martins stories. Hopefully I can get him on the Strong Talk podcast for an interview, but probably should have tried to do that before he was World's Strongest Man, don't you think? But, man, congratulations to Martins. What a wild finals. And let me know your thoughts on World's Strongest Man. I mean, there's always drama. There's always, things people don't like about a certain event. This person got injured. Yes, Thor was injured, but, I mean, Martins pushed him at the Arnold. A healthy Thor is probably going to place a couple points ahead, but that part of sport is staying healthy, and injuries do happen. It doesn't take away anything. I've seen people saying there's an asterisk on it, and that is complete bullshit. That's just how it goes. You don't know. Martins might have had some injury this whole weekend. We don't know. As severe as Thor's, no, but pretty much everyone's competing with some sort of injury. Whew. What are your thoughts? What I was getting at is, despite all of the the backlash, people get mad about stuff like the last man standing stones. They like to compare worlds to the Arnold. I went on a little tirade in my last video. You got to take all of that aside. For whatever reason, World's Strongest Man is still the World's Strongest Man. It's the show. I'm just excited. I've been watching a spreadsheet and looking at my notifications and my messages and seeing if people sent me stuff on Instagram stories and whatever all day. I'm not even there. I'm on the other side of the country. And I've been excited all day and not being able to focus on all the other things I have to do. I mean, it's just wild. I get excited about it. This is going to be damn good television. It's going to be on June 30th on CBS/CBS Sports, I believe. So at the end of the month, that's the fastest turnaround we've ever had. So you have to give them credit for that. No, it's not live. And, it was in one day. They pulled it off. It went a lot quicker than we thought it would be. The finals, from what I could tell, looked fairly well run. And yeah, I think it's gonna be great television. There's no way around that. And Martins Licis is the World's Strongest Man. Kielczkowski right there obviously made huge improvements in his static strength, lower body strength, squat, deadlift, etc. Bridesmaid again this year, kind of taking the role that Thor did for years, just being right there. But Martins Licis and Kielczkowski, I said over a year ago, and one of my predictions is going to be the best rivalry in strongman for the next 5 years, and I stand by that. Thanks for watching. I'm Kalle Beck. Of course, go to startingstrongman.com for full results, not listening to me talk. If you just like the audio, you can subscribe to the Strong Talk podcast wherever you get podcasts.